Hello there, crafty doer. Jessica Michaels here, sharing a technique I like to use to help me use up all my random scraps. And not only that, it helps to make them look cohesive. So grab a comfy chair, grab all your crafty things, and let's get into the crafty doings. In my last video, I mentioned this technique, but I translated onto a layout. In this video, I'm going to show you what that technique actually looks like using scraps and using it on cards like I normally do. This is my basket of leftovers and scraps. These are jelly prints I created with Vicky Booten over INSD Wicking this year. They are gorgeous, so they're sitting in this basket waiting for a special project. I did, however, use some of them, and these in an art journal page, and these are the leftovers from that art journaling page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all this excess white space that I have no need for this particular project. And it also saves me product and time and energy. The second thing I'm going to do is set up these scrap pieces of paper in no particular order, but I'm setting it up like a canvas. I'm going to do lots of stamping, and I'm going to use Vicky Booten's Storyteller stamp and die cut because it just, well, honestly, for one, I haven't used it. It's new to me, so I have to wipe off all the oil that it comes with sometimes. And then also it's just easier because it has the die and it has various stamps that I think are going to go well with this. Next, I have to choose blue. I'm going to go with the blue that complements the rest of the blue coming through these images. And I'm just going to stamp away. I'm going to speed up that process since I'm sure you know how to stamp. So ideally, I wouldn't move the scrap pieces of paper. I would leave them like I set them up the very first time because keep in mind, it is a canvas. But because I wanted to clean my glass craft mat, I moved them and I didn't bother putting the pieces back together. But this is the second stamp that I'm going to use to start layering up. And I'm going to go with a different shade of blue just to kind of mix it up a little bit. But I'm going to speed it up if you don't mind, since once again, I'm sure you know how to stamp. Okay, so for the next stamp, I'm going to grab this very dark leaf with some writing in it. And I'm just wiping off the oil again because the stamp set is new. This time I'm going to try Distress Oxide in a lighter shader color to see how that would look. Again, I'm just trying to mix up my blues since I already have lots of blues. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but let's try it. Nope, I don't like it, and that's okay. I'm going to grab what I was using in the first place, which was the Distress ink in Prize Ribbon, which is one of my favorite blues in the Distress line. After cleaning up my oxide off my stamp, let's see if that looks better. Yes, I like that a lot better. So I'm just going to cover that one up, and I'm going to continue to add those stamps in the blank spaces on each scrap piece of paper. And if you don't mind, I'm going to speed it up again. Okay, so now that I have all my stamped images that I want to add another layer to help make all of these scraps cohesive. And I'm going to use this watercolor pencil to splatter everywhere, and in no particular order because it's just splattering. There's not really puzzle pieces to put together. I'm going to try to focus on making sure that I really just add splatter everywhere. One of my favorite things about this process is that it looks like a hot mess, but if you just trust the process, it will get good. So just stick around. So I'm noticing this red and pink coming through this scrap piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and use some candied apple and some words. And I'm going to see what that looks like to help bring that red come through. And when I stamp this lettering, I encourage you to try to stamp vertically and horizontally in all pages. So for my final stamp, I'm going to grab this pretty little flower because I'm thinking that I really want some more of that red in there. But I can't decide if I do it, it's going to overwhelm it, or if I should stick with the blue. I'm going to go ahead and do the red and hope for the best. So if you don't mind, I'll speed it up. Okay, so I like it. I don't love that the red is really popping through more than I wanted it to. So easy fix, I'm gonna splatter some more of that Prize Ribbon watercolor pencil. This time though, I'm gonna focus on really drenching that paintbrush with the product so that I get bigger splotches. And I think that really balanced all of the colors all together. So for another layer, to help make these look cohesive, I'm using some foundry wax, adding a little bit of isopropyl alcohol so that I'm able to splatter the foundry wax. Because if you haven't played with it before, when it dries powdery. So we need to keep it wet, and isopropyl alcohol helps with that. You do have to heat set it, but it's totally worth it. You get such a pretty sparkle. See? Oh, wow. And so now you're going to be able to see that come across all of it. Let me speed up this process for you if you don't mind. Okay, here's a look at that gold sparkle. Hold on. There we go. That gold sparkle there it's gonna come through all of the pages. So through the magic of editing, my desk is clean. And now it's time for trimming. Now I do not measure. I am not good with numbers. That's why I do the art things. So I think my favorite tool in my craft room would be my pencil. Why? Because I get to make little marks, and then those little marks tell me where I have to cut. But for the sake of the tutorial, these cards that I'm making are 3.5 by 5, and then I cut a panel just 1/4 of an inch all around for the panel, the backing where I'm going to adhere the mixed media panels. So I'm gonna go with 4 strips, all 5 by 1 inch, and I just have to remember to make sure to not lose them or mix them up, because it's like a puzzle. You want the stamp images to come through. And so a little tip is I like to pre-cut the panels, and once I'm done with the strips, I set them up there so I know those are where they belong, as you can see, and then they won't get mixed up or lost. Okay, so I have these last three strips. They're not a match at all, but I definitely want to use them because I mean, I've added product, I've spent time and energy on them. So let me try to find a way. I see the rose here between the blue and the red. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on that by trimming it down all the same size. It's going to help me trim them into the 1 inch by 5 strips that are going to go onto the white panel. Once I do that, I notice that I cannot really connect the yellow to them, but the red does have a little bit of yellow. And so I think for the eye, I think I'll be able to trick the eye with that. So I'm going to cut these down into the strips that I need to at a fast forward pace. Okay, so I end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of the 4. So I have an extra. Obviously, I can't fit them in. So I have to figure out what looks best. And I think, honestly, the rose looks the best. It's like the full image of the stamp image of the rose. So I really want to keep the blue and the red in there. So now it's just between the red and the yellows. And I do like that circle that I remember using. It wasn't a toilet paper roll. It was some kind of I think it was like a washi tape roll. My only issue is that the red and the yellow, they don't connect. So quick thinking, I'm just going to remove that red strip and put in the yellow, and I'm going to just call it good. These are all extra pieces that I'm most likely going to use in my art journals, in my mixed media art journals. And now it's just a matter of gluing down the strips. So if you don't mind, I'm going to speed up this part of the process. So be honest, can you tell me that you can see it all coming together now? I think this technique for cards is gorgeous. So let's finish up. I'm going to grab the butterfly in the Storyteller stamp because, again, it has a die cut, so I don't have the fussy cut. And I'm going to use the beautiful ink that I have been using, the prize ribbon, and stamp a whole bunch of images and put them through my die cutting machine and get them all prepped for the assembly line. Okay, so we have our beautiful cards, our beautiful embellishment butterflies. And now I'm going to print out some sentiments of my own. And you'll see that it says muchas gracias. And the reason is because I use these thank you cards for work, and I teach Spanish at a elementary school, and I love giving out these cards to the kiddos or their families. And last year I ran out and I had to rush and whip some up really quick at the end of the year. And so this year I told myself during the summer, I'm going to really load up a stash. And so this is the idea behind all of that. I'm going to add some foam tape and then another little layer on top of these cards, again, to make them look like a set, which is running them through my sewing machine, adding a little stitch. Of course, it is one of my favorite things to do to paper. And finally, I'm going to grab my 3.5 by 5 cards. And from here on out, it's just honestly a matter of assembly. So if you don't mind, this is the last time I'll go ahead and speed up this process. After sharing with you that I'm going to use foam tape just like so on all of them to give them a little height off of that plain white bright base. And there you have it, Crafty Doers, a set of 5 beautiful cards created with my scraps. They all look cohesive, like a beautiful collection. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And don't forget to check out the previous video where I translate this technique onto a scrapbooking layout. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I will see you at the next Crafty Doings.